So I have another question. Do you make a distinction between active leisure and passive leisure?
Well, I think we do. I mean, not just me personally, but also a lot of leisure researchers do make this distinction. And when we say active versus passive, we often mean the physical activeness and passiveness, basically. Physical active, like, going doing sports versus passive beings watching TV, sedentary activity. We do that. But also in a leisure, I mean, we can think about different kinds of activeness, like, for example, socially active.
Hmm.
That's one thing. Another thing is cognitively and mentally active.
Yes.
Some of the quizzes and games and stuff like that too. We have I think, fair amount of evidence, very, basic evidence to suggest that the more you engage in active leisure, both physically and socially active specifically, you tend to be happier in many, I mean, not necessarily ikigai, but the other activities as well. I also have some of the evidence around that too. But yeah, we make this distinction.
I think it's a important distinction, and I think perhaps unfortunately
Hmm.
we're we're moving towards passive leisure.
Hmm.
And so, in a world of distraction with smartphones, social media addiction, and 24-hour access to unlimited entertainment with things like YouTube or Netflix, do you
Hmm.
think it's becoming harder for people to find ikigai?
I mean, I think so. I mean, there's a layer of value judgment here too, and it's kind of a little difficult for me too. But in many ways, I mean, I'm thinking about the pictures that I got in my first Ikigai study, interview
Okay.
study. I didn't see a lot of people showing screen of computer or TV.
Hmm.
And here's my Ikigai, and that's a TV show, for example. I didn't see that, or even for that matter, for example, Twitters or Instagram and those, I mean, there's Japan is heavily technologically developed too, and they Japanese people use those social media. However, I didn't see anybody saying, for example, Facebook, this is my Ikigai.
Mm.
Not really. So I think that, and it's attached to this, personal values and social values that although we tend to do those social media and their sedentary activities, we are also surrounded by this social discourse that those are not great thing. We know
Yes.
that, we are aware of that. So it's really difficult for us to value truly, wholeheartedly value those experiences. And I don't think there is so much to value, to be honest. I
Hmm.
have, I also sometimes binge watch Netflix and stuff like that, but I usually feel guilty rather than proud of myself
Yes.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think there is that element, the social norms aspect to it too, but also just the sheer quality and intensity of the experience. It's just not there sometimes. A lot of people would uh, provided a picture about trip, for example. It's very experiential, and it's just it's unique
Mm.
experience that cannot be just reproduced on like TV, for example. It's very different from simulated experience like a YouTube video. Yeah, you can go to maybe Italy through YouTube in a video or whatever virtual reality, but that's just different from you actually going there, do some troubles on the way, and actually getting there, talking to people, eating something, smelling something, and all that kind of real contextualized experience. So I think that's really, really necessary. Although one thing that I would point out that maybe social media or some of their TV watching and stuff can be good for value disengagement. It's an easy way to just take your mind off in a way, maybe. But again, when you really want to value experience, yes, I would agree. So, I mean, too many of us spend too much of time on those things, and people tend not to value those experiences.